to Manifest on Purpose. My name is Kimberly Williams. I am a mindset consultant specializing in manifestation. I help you align your mindset with the things that you desire in your life to help you manifest in your life. So what are you waiting for? Come on, let's go. Let's manifest on purpose. Hello, and happy Friday to you. I know you've been waiting for today. It's the end of the week, technically. I hope you have a great weekend planned for you. Before we get into the topic of discussion, I want to express gratitude. Before we get into the topic of discussion, I want to express gratitude. Welcome to the Manifest on Purpose Mindset Show. I'm grateful for you. If nobody has ever let you know that they appreciate you, I'm telling you now, I appreciate you. There are no mistakes. If you're here today, there's a message here for you. Listen carefully. Keep up with the show. When I first met a spiritual teacher of mine many years ago, I was greeted like this: "Oh, wheresoever be a Muslim, Allah will bring them together." That's a phrase that some Muslims use. Allah meaning one God, and Muslim being one that practices this concept of the one God. Even then, I saw the broader picture in it. The broader picture is we attract who we are. You may discover that by listening to the show, you could be like, wow, that's where I am in my life right now. Or I went through or am going through that. That's why I allow my topics to be inspired by my higher self. That being said, I would like to say hello to one of our listeners, Michelle. Michelle has been listening to the show and decided to share some love and light with me. Michelle is a light worker, teaches meditation, and is a Reiki healer. Her energy is amazing, and I think that's one of the first things that I thought. You can find her on Instagram at Transcends. I'll put the link down in the bio so that you can go and check her out for yourself. I get so excited when you show your love and support. It helps me grow. When I grow, you grow. I came to the conclusion this week that I feel like I share my life as it happens here on Manifest on Purpose show. Today, I'm going to share my recent manifestation. If you know me like I think you do, you know there's a lesson in it somewhere. If you tuned in on Monday, you know part of it. You know that we welcomed our first grandchild into this existence, into this reality. You may even celebrate it with me and sent positive energy. Thank you so much. I felt all of that energy and all that attention and love. Thank you so much. Guess what you don't know yet? Yeah, I'm holding something back. I spent time for her for the very first time earlier this week. It was so exciting. She's out of town, so I had to take a trip to go visit her and meet her for the very first time. This experience was far better than what any of the other grandmothers could have even described to me. So many people, when they found out I had my first grandchild on the way, they were telling me how good it is and how you're going to be so excited. And I'm always just like, okay, I hear you. But it happens just like that. It's just far more than I can really explain. When I held her for the very first time, I felt the same bliss I felt when I held my children for the very first time. Ja and I, that's what we call her, Ja, enjoy our very first meditation together. You know I was going to go there. Listen, I was going to actually create meditation tracks so that they could play for her before she got here. But I never went through with that. So I made sure that I got this very first meditation experience with her. I held her against my chest. She curled right up in almost like a fetal position. After a few short moments, our heartbeats were in sync. The physical world began to disappear. Our heartbeats were so in sync, I had to check on her a couple of times to make sure she was okay. Do you remember those days? Or perhaps you're still going through that when you're checking on the baby in the middle of the night to make sure everything was okay. I was doing that. We were so in tune that I could not even tell the difference between her heartbeat and mine. It was beautiful. I love meditating with babies. This is not the first time I have meditated with babies. Babies are often perceived as being vulnerable because they are new in this moment. They are new to this experience, or so we think. Give me a comment and let me know if you feel like that's true. That's far from the truth for me. Babies are wise. Children are wise, especially up until the age of about 7 years old. Because society or this physical world has not thrown in their perceptions of the world strong enough yet. All of that junk hasn't had time to sit down in there enough. My first experience meditating with a baby was one of my dear relatives. Her name was Maddie. Maddie was so sweet. When I held Maddie for the first time and I laid her the same way on my chest, the way that I laid Ja on that first time, I felt the same thing. I felt that in sync connection. So much so that when it was time for me to leave, it was hard for me to tear myself away from Maddie because we just felt so connected. Next up was my great niece. She was born just 5 days before my birthday. She knows she could have waited. We are Leos and understand each other. Mini Cake is what I call her. She's very different. She's active. She's my cub. From the very beginning, Leos are active when they're young. I'm in the calm stages of the Leo. I'm lying around waiting for my food to come to me. I'm waiting to attract my food. But Mini Cake, she's like, Auntie, let's go get it. Since she's not still, we meditate in the mirror sometimes. I hold her up to the mirror. She gets lost in it. The typical Leos, we love the mirror. We just don't want you to know that we love the mirror because you may think something crazy like we're vain or something. Why would you ever think that about a Leo? Back to the experience Ja and I was having. Once we were in sync, the physical layer peeled back. We were lost from everything and everybody around us. I heard a small, still voice saying, "Even your manifestations continue to manifest." If you're seeking for an answer, if you're looking for a message, get still. Relax. Let go of everything that's around you and listen. At this point in our experience, we were in a dark space. There were no pictures there, so I'll refrain from calling this next experience a vision because it was not quite a vision. It was a knowing. This This knowing enlightenment experience went a little bit like this. Your great great grandparents were manifested as a result, manifested my great grandparents, who manifested my grandparents, who manifested my parents, who manifested me. I manifested my children, who are now manifesting my grandchildren. It was a whole lineage of mostly people that I didn't even know. All I had was audio. I couldn't see anything, but I could just see like figures kind of like lining up, showing how it happened. One thing developing from another thing and then moving forward to develop something else. No, don't even look at me like that. I'm not the special one here. It happens to you also. What you create is always creating. When you think about reproduction, you'll become aware that a thought creates an action which creates a response. The same can be said for manifestation. A thought creates an action which creates a response. That's the cycle. That's the flow. To give you something to ponder, flow is full involvement. Flow is your full attention, your full awareness, your full focus in this very moment. You can do just about anything that you love to do to get yourself in a state of flow. It can be music, it can be drawing, it can be art, it can be dancing. There's so many ways to get into that state of flow. You can get into that state of flow during meditation. I have gotten into the state of flow through my dreams sometimes. It's not difficult to get into the state of flow. It just requires your full involvement. It requires you to be completely focused on what you're doing in that moment and nothing else. Maybe you have noticed through your manifestations that the flow is not the way you want it to be. Perhaps you're not getting the things that you want when you set your intentions. Don't panic. Don't get too excited. You can adjust your flow. To adjust your flow, you can begin to manifest on purpose. Align your mindset and your actions with the exact thing that you are seeking. Because just like flow is one of those things you can get in a flow that can help you, or you can get in a flow that can hinder you. It all is determined on your mindset and your actions. The lesson that I learned here is the seeds I plant today will take root and spring up in another part of my existence. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be, in this case, 21 years later. Maybe you are going through shifts that you don't understand today. Study those shifts because each shift started as a seed. If you can trace the shift back to the seed, back to that process of when you planted and the gestation period, you will learn what initiated manifestation. If you know what initiated that manifestation, you can use that cycle, that flow, to create something else. Maybe even something more desirable for you. You know us. We have a lot of thoughts. We think about a lot of things. We think that because babies don't talk, they are not aware. It is in my opinion that babies are more aware than we are. The veil is thinner. They come here to teach. That's power. Start meditating with your babies. Your babies can teach you something that you may not learn otherwise. Place them right against your heart and listen to the messages they have to share. Be safe while you're doing this and wait for an answer. As soon as I took jaw off my chest to lie her down, she began to cry. In that moment, when I heard that cry, gratitude just filled me because I knew she enjoyed that experience more than I did. Send me your baby meditations and manifestation stories. Send them to manifestonpurpose@gmail.com. Let me help you celebrate your babies too. I love you to life. Manifest on purpose.